My name is Annabelle Bangs from the Center for Civic Engagement. I am here today with Family Court Judge candidate, Mr. Joshua Shapiro. So our first question for you is, many college students may not be familiar with the role of family court. Can you tell us more about what responsibilities the family court judge has and why this role is important to our community?
Sure. Well, first, Annabelle, I want to thank you for having me on to speak to the students. This is my non-answer to your question. I'm a former Binghamton University student myself, so it means a lot to me to be able to speak to the students. And I think I'm going to be a little unique amongst I know you're interviewing all the candidates. We're going to be a little unique amongst all the candidates because I just want to start by stating I am not seeking your vote. I suspended my campaign back in June because I had been seeking both the Democratic and the Working Families nomination, and I was successful in winning the Working Families nomination. However, I was unsuccessful at the Democratic primary, so I suspended my campaign at that point. However, the reason why I wanted to come speak to you as a former Binghamton University student was to tell all of the students and encourage you to please vote in this election, because your votes are very important. It's frequently the case, especially in off-year elections. As a former student myself, I understand this, that you don't get out, you don't vote because it's not the high-profile races on the ballot. And family court judges have a significant impact on the day-to-day lives of many people, including potentially students. So what family court does on a day-to-day basis, they handle custody and visitation matters that are not associated with divorce cases. They handle child support proceedings. They handle family offenses, which are similar to criminal proceedings, but amongst people that have a familial relationship. So what that means is if you are in, for example, a relationship with another person and you are the victim of a crime that they have perpetrated, in lieu of going through the criminal justice system, you can start what's called a family offense petition, and that would go to a family court judge. One other major area that family court judges handle are juvenile delinquency proceedings. And that is, especially for any freshmen who are on the younger side, that is anyone who is under the new laws now, includes some 16 and 17-year-olds for designated misdemeanor offenses, and then those under the age of 16 for virtually all offenses, with some exceptions. So family court judges can have a lot of impact on, well, first of all, the community members' lives, but on students' lives. Family court judges are unique in the criminal justice system because there's no jury in family court. So the judges that you elect, you really want them to have good judgment and good experience, because they are making oftentimes unilateral decisions that can really affect the lives of children, can really affect the lives of people that are the victims of family offense crimes and things like that. I know that was a long answer to your first question.
That is perfectly okay. Thank you for your response, and thank you for still speaking with us, even though your campaign has been suspended. So originally, what motivated you to run for this position?
Sure. So originally, I began my career as a prosecutor. I was a prosecutor for 11 years. I started in the Suffolk County District Attorney's Office. I'm actually from Long Island originally. I went to college at Binghamton University, and that's my wife did as well, and that's how we ended up in the area and sticking around. And then I ended up as a prosecutor in the Broome County DA's office. And ultimately, I moved on to prosecuting homicide cases, and specifically, I specialized in the prosecution of child abuse homicides, which were horrible, horrific cases. And in my experience, every single child abuse homicide that I prosecuted had a history of family court involvement. It was never the case that a child was just killed out of the blue. There was always family court involvement on the front end. And you know, one of my last cases before I moved into my current role as a court attorney referee was a prosecution involving a young girl who at the time was the same age as my oldest daughter. At the time when she was just shy of 2 years old. And I was trying that case, and I couldn't help. It was horrible. Every day I'd come home and I'd see my own daughter, who was just, I'm biased because my daughter's awesome, but I'm biased because she's my daughter. But you know, I'd come home every day and she's smiling and happy and bubbly, daddy, daddy, and giving me hugs. And I couldn't help but think, you know, here's my wonderful daughter, and then there's this other little girl that never had that chance, and she was in family court before I had her case as a homicide victim, and I knew at that time that I would run for family court judge someday, and I will run for family court judge probably again someday after this election. But you know, I wanted to make a difference in children's lives before those cases reach the desk of a prosecutor.
Thank you very much. So how has your background and experience, you touched upon this already, but how has your background and experience prepared you to be successful in this position?
Sure. So as I said, I was a prosecutor. And again, I don't want to mislead anybody. This isn't like I'm speaking to you, but I really hope you vote for me. I don't want you to vote for me. You get 2 votes. And as a judicial candidate and a current court attorney referee, I cannot endorse any candidates, but I would just suggest that you look at the backgrounds and the experience of all the candidates, watch these videos, you know, and research them carefully, because your votes do matter. As far as my experience, obviously I was a prosecutor for 11 years. And then after that, I moved into the role of a court attorney referee. Court attorney referee is similar to a judge. I hear cases, I conduct hearings and conduct trials. I have a calendar of cases that I handle in Supreme Court. Actually, recently I now have a calendar of cases that I handle in family court as well. So I believe I have or had the disposition to sit on the bench. And again, I likely will pursue running again one day.
Thank you very much. So our last question is there anything else you would like to share to help students decide who deserves their vote?
Sure. So one, most importantly, really please vote. Again, as Binghamton University students, if you all voted, you know, our community is small enough, you have, and you're sort of an outsized influence population, you vote at historically low levels. Again, I get this because I was a student and you've got other things going on, you've got finals. And, you know, many of you like me are not from the community originally. But if you vote in numbers, you can influence the election. And I would just, you know, I would look at the campaign's materials, the websites, you know, look at what the candidates are saying, what they're doing. I can't endorse any candidate, like I said, so I really don't want to say much more than that, other than please do vote.
Thank you very much. So again, to the other students that are watching this, please make sure to check out the other videos and the other interviews so you can get a better understanding of all the candidates. I would like to thank Mr. Shapiro for speaking with us today.
Thank you for having me.
Remember, there's a reminder that Election Day is November 2nd, and you can come to the Center for Civic Engagement office if there are any other questions.